Are you ready to take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest, and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknext.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today.
All right. What's going on? Hello. All right. We'll do, obviously, it's office hours, so we'll answer questions. That's always fun. But put either a Q and a dash or the word question. So yeah, do that. Okay. We will talk about a few things. One, investors are pulling a dump truck of Bitcoin off of crypto exchanges. So we're gonna talk about that. Obviously, as we look at markets, Ethereum not moving, which is weird. Very, very weird. Weird, borderline suspicious. Actually, not even borderline suspicious, really suspicious. I don't know if it's ETF funds playing games or shenanigans or trying to keep the spotlight on Bitcoin so that one moves and then the other moves and then one moves. I don't know. But it's curious. It's curious to me. And other ETH assets selling off as Bitcoin moves marginally higher. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. This too shall pass. But it is curious. And then we're going to talk about something. Jeff Snyder brought it up a little bit in a show. Was it last week? I think early in the week last week, Jeff Snyder talked about what was going on in China with this, money financed fiscal expansion. And I thought, well, it's a kind of stimulus and it's important to talk about. I think the stimmies are coming. I think 2025, a lot of governments around the world are going to be engaging in stimulus activities. Some of them real, some of them imagined, most of them imagined. Like what the Fed does, that's imagined. What the Treasury does, that's real. The Fed does not inject money because the Fed does not use money. The Fed is not a real central bank. It's not a money dealer. It uses a variety of mechanisms like bank reserves and stuff like that. And that's not money. So yeah, you can't manage an economy on the fiscal side without money. And interest rate maneuvers, they don't work either, because interest rates are the symptom, the after effect of what's happening in the markets. They're not the cause of what's happening in the markets. So it's like you pull the gun, the bullet goes out, and somewhere over there it hits something. right? The participants in the markets are the ones shooting the gun. Someplace far, far away where you hear the little ping noise where a bullet hits something, that's the Fed after the fact. Hey, we're still here. We're managing this. None of these central banks manage anything. All their data is backwards facing. They don't manage anything. What they try to manage is public expectation. It is a form of perverse public theater, and it's less and less valuable, I think, the smarter people get. It's funny because over the last few years, I feel like even mainstream, whatever that means, mainstream media, they're starting to not buy into the Fed shenanigans, which is good. That's all good news. So yeah, there. Okay. Anyway, but we're going to talk about money, finance, fiscal expansion in depth. This whole idea of printing to grow the economy, printing prosperity. We're going to print prosperity because that's always worked before, right? Print happiness, maybe for a short time. Maybe for short little moments you can, but over the long term, it's not possible. At the same time you're printing, you're debasing the currency. And if you devalue the currency, everyone's savings get blown up. So it becomes a race for certain assets, and you know where that goes. Anyway, hello. What's the word? Sam. Bitcoin was over its all-time highs. It was higher than its all-time highs. All right. So let's talk first about this withdrawing of currency units. So nearly $4 billion of Bitcoin was withdrawn from currency exchanges over the past week. A closely followed on-chain analyst observed that investors are pulling out massive amounts of Bitcoin. Ali Martinez said in the second week of December, market participants took out nearly $4 billion worth of Bitcoin from crypto exchanges, citing data from CryptoQuant. Martinez details a steady downtrend in the overall balance of BTC on exchanges. I'm going to show you this picture if it'll let me. Will it let me? Let's see. Oh, I'm going to have to cheat. It doesn't want to let me, but I'm going to take it anyway. I'm going to do it this way. You can't stop me. Okay, let's see if it worked. I got to get this little screenshot. Hold on. Give me a second. Where did you go? Ah, there you are. There you are, you bugger. Yes. You can now see it. So this is what's going on. Let me move my little banner. Move my little banner. So this is the on-exchange Bitcoin, right? Another 40,000 BTC were withdrawn from exchanges over the past week, totaling 3.92 billion over the last 2 weeks. So that's going. You can see that the on-exchange amount of Bitcoin is dwindling pretty quickly. There's going to be a point where we hit the 1 million left. That'll be a big deal. They'll trumpet that shit out everywhere. I'm sure. Trump it. What? My guess is towards the spring of 2025. So in the next 3 months and change, you're going to hear this big talk about, there's only a little bit more than 1 million. There's only 1 million Bitcoin left on exchanges. And that'll be a big deal. And that'll probably cause a fair amount of, you would think that would cause a fair amount of FOMO, the old I don't want to get left behind FOMO. Anyway, Martinez also said Bitcoin miners have unloaded massive amounts of Bitcoin during the first half of the month. So far in December, Bitcoin miners have sold over 140,000 Bitcoin. They have to. They got to keep the freaking lights on. And they've had a bad few months. So yeah, you can expect them to be selling. Totaling 13.72 billion. Despite the selling pressure from miners, Bitcoin appears unfazed now that Bitcoin has hit yet another all-time high. It's currently trading. I think it's over. Well, let's see. We are over. I don't want to go to my other chart because I don't want to script the screen. We're sitting at what? 106.6 right now? 106.5. It had touched all-time high about 30 minutes ago. It touched 108.2 about 30 minutes ago. So that would have been the all-time high ever, the all-time ever high a few minutes ago. Like not long. less than an hour. And oddly, Ethereum just kind of languishing. It's very weird. It's very weird. It's very, very strange and weird. Looking at Ethereum, Martinez details 3 on-chain metrics flashing bullish for the, I guess what we call the top alternative asset or the top smart contract platform, layer 1, whatever you want to call it, by market cap. On-chain metrics for Ethereum are looking pretty strong. Active addresses are up 4.24% for this week. New addresses are up 2.65% nominal. Zero balance addresses are down 4.06%. So wallets that had nothing that now have something, people are starting to stockpile again. So it looks like momentum is building, that Ethereum is coiling. It is coiling. So that's good. Ethereum's kind of it's been floating around the 4,000 mark. It was $4,000 yesterday, got up to almost 40, or it did touch 4,100, back down to 39.75, something like that today. It's just floating around 4,000. I expect Ethereum at some point to move. I know that Bitcoin is the story, but these things usually mostly go up together. It's a little wobble back and forth with some of the other altcoins, but Ethereum typically tracks Bitcoin. And chart-wise, we can go look at the chart. We don't have to go look at all the charts, but we could go look at. Matter of fact, why don't we switch gears real quick? Let's go over to markets just for a skosh, and let's look what's going on. All right, so as you see, yay, the corn 106.7, great, fancy, fantastic. And again, Ethereum's not down, it's pretty flat, and it's pretty close to tracking over the 7-day. It's outperforming over the 30-day, slightly underperforming over the 90-day, basically half the performance. It's pretty shocking how underperforming Ethereum is, given all the activity, especially like layer 2 activity and things like that. So that's weird. Remember, nothing's really manipulation. It's just people trading and trying to game it. There's a lot of gaming going on. They're gaming stuff, but that's not manipulation in some, perverted, criminal kind of thing. It's just people want to make the most out of their currency units, and people with more currency units have, a lot more power to do things that are in their best interest. It doesn't make it manipulation. I hear people, it's being manipulated. It's not being manipulated any more than the price of Bitcoin's going up because people keep buying it. Is that manipulation? If it was going down, everybody would say the miners are manipulating Bitcoin. Why? They're selling, bitch. They got to keep the lights on. They have to pay people. They have rent. They have turnover in equipment. Stuff's not free. Bitcoin doesn't mine itself. You can't just take an old shoebox and just stare at it until Bitcoin pops out. So, sometimes what looks like manipulation or skullduggery is just regular market behavior. So anyway, I think that's what we're seeing. I think that there are some mechanical pieces that I'm not seeing. I feel like I don't quite understand Ethereum, the market. I think there's some clunky bits to it because it should be tracking better. It's pretty important. And the fact that something like XRP can be having, and again, XRP missed 2 bull runs, right? Because they're run by a bunch of crooks. But the fact that people are dummying that coin up because they're doing a stable coin launch that doesn't use XRP is freaking mind-boggling. And it's XRP army. You're like, yeah, XRP. Why? Stablecoin. Yeah, but that's not XRP. Doesn't use XRP. It uses the ledger. The ledger doesn't need to use XRP. This stablecoin doesn't burn XRP. Yeah. What? Yeah, so why are you buying it? It's XRP. Okay, man, whatever. We love Brad. Yeah, I know. I know. So there's a lot of stuff. Oh, Charles, there was an article that Charles just had where he's like, Cardano's going to take over the world. I was going to read it. It's so impossible to read. It's so impossible to read when he goes on these weird things. Like, he just keeps upping the ante of his bullcrap. There's apparently no end in sight. Remember all the stuff? Oh, I'm going down to Washington. I'm going to be part of the, he intimated, I'm going to be a part of the legislation, creating crypto legislation. Bullshit, Charles, fucking liar. Like, a lie through kind of intimation. Like, shut up. That dude, no one wants that motherfucker in a room. He's cried and bitched for so many years that just people are just like, get away, Charles, go, man, go with your fucking woolly mammoths and your psychedelic mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms, and meteorite chasing and shit, and stay the fuck out of crypto. Same thing as Dan Larimer, who was over at EOS. Take your money, Dan, and fuck off. Go away, disappear, and let the adults move technology forward. It's like, this guy, man, every time he opens his mouth, the token sells off. You'd think his own community would tell him to shut the F up. Matter of fact, they did. When they voted, what is the biggest toxic part of the community? It's Charles. They voted that he was toxic. Gosh. So, man, there you go. Okay. What else is going on? Uniswap's selling off a little bit. I don't know why, but I know that Ethereum assets in general selling off a little bit. Aptos came down. It was at 1420, 1450 yesterday, something like that. Everything kind of ran with that first spike of Bitcoin, and then Ethereum got up near 4,100. Things were spiking. Things are kind of quiet today. Fetch getting kicked in the nuts. Why shouldn't it? It's a piece of shit company with no products. At some point, that's got to mean something. I don't know why. No one thinks that would ever mean anything ever. It's a piece of shit company with no product. Nothing. They produce nothing. They have nothing. They promise a lot of stuff. But ... So get off your ass, Fetch. It's like 7 companies now that have all thrown their tokens into some sloppy fucking mess called ASI, which is really, just so you know, that's an exit for founders and token holders with a lot of tokens that in their respective individual tokens that they were in that are illiquid, they couldn't get out. But now that Fetch is this one big pile of assets that now at some point it's a fucking soup that no one even knows what it is. Oh, and that's also what their product is. It's a fucking soup that no one knows what it is. So now they can make all these random promises and continue to never deliver. And no one cares because no one cares about this stuff. It's weird. They just look at the market cap and the price and they watch the volume. And I guess that's fine too. That's a way of doing it. I just feel like investing, you should have more of a fundamental understanding of what the fuck you own. Anyway, with Fetch, it's a bunch of empty promises, fake votes, and bullshit. And I'm sure it's going to do just fine. It'll probably be back up at $2.50 before we know it. All on bullshit, though. Just know that. Because it's managed by, rejects. Okay. What else is interesting? I keep watching Monero. I keep watching Zcash. You say, why would you watch those? Who cares about those privacy coins? Well, I used to watch them because they're low-hanging fruit for the Elizabeth Warrens of the world, the choke points, the anti-crypto elites. No, she's not much of an elite. She barely has a grasp of the English language. But people that hate crypto, it would seem like low-hanging fruit is or would be privacy tokens. I'm watching the prices of these privacy tokens because I'm curious if Midnight ever freaking launches, what that thing might be worth. Now, the airdrop, oh, that's Charles again. The airdrop that was supposed to be for Cardano token holders Or, well, the way it would work is you would earn the token by staking with Cardano stake pools. You would be earning every block, every epic. You would be earning midnight, and I guess you would one or the other. You like use dust. There's midnight and dust, and like you would either earn dust or the midnight. It keeps changing exactly how it works. But anyway, some conglomeration of a 2-token system that would be one of them would be like a gas fee that have little or no monetary value used to process privacy transactions. Like you could add dust to a transaction or something like that. Anyway, so at some point you think these assholes will want to get out the door while Bitcoin's achieving all-time highs. You know, that might be a cool time to launch something into the market. With Donald Trump coming and a probable Bitcoin reserve coming and many states and other countries launching Bitcoin reserves. And then obviously that's the gateway drug. And then you have Bitcoin, and now you look past that and you say, what's next? Ethereum is what's next. Obviously, that's why there's the ETFs that are already set up. It's obvious. This is beyond simple obvious. They're pumping the shit out of Bitcoin, and they will continue to. And then they will pump the shit out of Ethereum because they've already set that up. I mean, this should be stupidly obvious. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe I'm stupid and I'm missing it. That's possible, but not probable. Algorand completely shit the bed from where it was a few months ago, but because it had a big pump, but it's not back where it was. So it's still up a lot from 90 days, but not where it was. It was over 60 cents. It gave up 30. That's 50% away from here, just about. That's a big clip. Maybe it's because people woke up to the reality that there's nothing there, or maybe the sentiment run is not here. Maybe we'll get a Christmas sentimental run or something. I don't know. Maybe. I am not banking on anything to come out of that company at all. At all. ... Ever. They have squandered a lot of time. And short of pumps. Now, one of their main token holders is Anthony Scaramucci, and that's Skybridge Capital, and they probably have some pull, some sway. I'm guessing he might make some calls, try to get some other VCs excited about Algorand. So there's always that possibility. People can pump these tokens. A few big players can get on board, and you can pump these tokens. So I'm not saying that thing's not going to go anywhere. I'm saying it shouldn't go anywhere because it's a piece of garbage. But look at the whole meme coin market. It's all garbage. And those tokens do just fine, being complete dumpster trash. Dumpster juice. The goo that settles at the bottom of a dumpster that is basically byproduct of the deterioration of the crap in the dumpster, that goo, that dumpster juice, that is what they drink, gargle, and spit out in the form of code at Algorand. Fucking nothing. They do nothing. They've achieved nothing. It's mind-boggling how much of a lead they had with Silvio Macaulay at the helm, and they couldn't do a fucking thing. It's every time I even talk about it, it jars my brain. It don't make no damn sense. What the fuck are they doing every day when they wake up? Like, what are they doing over there with all that money? They have a lot of money. Nothing. Fucking zero, these guys. Cosmos, they do cool stuff, but no one cares. That's the unfortunate one there. They should redecimalize and drop the price of the token. These companies, they gotta take a beat from these meme coins. Buddy, look at these meme coins, these spammy, useless dog shit meme coins. They do just fine. Why? Because they're spammy dog shit. It's a gambling token. These tokens are too expensive to be gambling tokens. And the community of people that are coming into crypto now, they're spammy ass fucking gamblers. They don't give a shit about fundamentals. So you got to sell them something they can understand. You got to sell them low market cap assets with tiny token prices. And they're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to get rich. I'll be a billionaire. I read about that guy that's a billionaire. He bought some Dogecoin. Now he's a billionaire because Dogecoin or something. Anyway, there's always one story like that and not the 170,000 stories. You remember was it 2 weeks ago? Remember last week? Remember early last week, the big sell-off that wrecked all those people, just over 2 billion in liquidations, just gone, poof, gone. That these dickheads were just gambling all over the place. Well, they haven't gone anywhere. Well, some of them are probably bankrupt, but most of them are still here in one form or another. So these people are still around. So like, if you look into the near future, do you think gamblers stop gambling? No. What looks enticing for them? A 2-cent token or a $2 token? A 2-cent token. If a low market cap 2-cent token, they don't care what the fundamentals are. Dummy's gonna dummy. So I guess we just have to create a crypto space that's more appealing for dummies. And then there's that other crypto space, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then I think layer 2s will fall in line that are accepted by traditional legacy financial institutions, government. So we'll see. What kind of crazy damn madness do you think is going to happen on Inauguration Day? Can you imagine if Trump came in with an executive order like 10 of them ready? He's like, where's the stamp? I need the best stamp. I need the greatest stamp. What? And just fucking starts rubber stamping these things. Bitcoin reserve. No lower corporate tariffs. Like, can you imagine the chaos? It'd be awesome. Anyway, I think there's going to be a run. I think there'll probably be a slight run into Christmas. I think there'll be a big run into the inauguration. I think there's going to be a lot of enthusiasm. Could also create a sell the news event, but you never know. Donald Trump is in crypto now, folks. That's a good thing. It's a thing. Okay. Other than that, kind of quiet. Nothing super dramatic happening anywhere. Oh, NewNet. Oh, it went way up and then came way down. Why? Because no one cares about it. They have no product. Everybody in the chat's like, oh, it's getting ready to launch. Launch what? You guys took money years ago. You have nothing to show for it. Oh, we have a lot of code. We have a lot of useless code. You can do nothing with all of our code that we have. Kabir will tell you about it in his broken English. I'm not hating on Kabir. Get a fucking translator, dude. Or get someone to speak to the public, since you can't. God, talk about putting the wrong guy as the head man for a company. Jesus. These companies, like, they shoot themselves in the foot in such obvious ways. NewNet should have never been its own company. It should just exist inside SingularityNet. Sophia should have never been a company. It should have been a video game inside SophiaNet. Cogito shouldn't be a company, period. It's not anything. It doesn't do anything. They don't even know what they do, and they can't even keep up with the trends fast enough to rebrand fast enough to come up with anything useful. Oh, so now they're going to merge with Singularity DAO. Why? And create what? Oh, we're going to make 50 billion tokens. Why? Well, because real world assets. What does that even mean? That's not just a blanket answer. Here's what happens. If you work at these companies and you don't know what the question that you've been asked is, I don't mean you don't know the answer. I mean, you don't know the question. You don't even understand the words that the questioner asked you. Then you say real world assets. That's not an answer, stupid. That's like, what's your favorite color? Real world assets. No, that's not an answer, and that's not a color. I mean, it's an answer. Like, stop. So there's a lot of companies that don't need to exist. Period, full stop. Just don't need to exist. Yeah. Anyway, on Twin, unrelated, Twin, which is not under the SingularityNet, ASI, fetch, fucking bullshit token blob. Twin, its own company, is they're trying to finish a Bitmart listing, and then they're going after some other centralized exchanges. They're going to try to get some tier 1 exchange listings, so that could be quite good for them. It looks like the Libra token, Libe, here, I'll show you over here. I can't hear anything. Yeah, anyway, let me go over here to Node Market really quick. So these two tokens, the Gamer token, GMRT, that's from the game company. So that Gamer token looks like sometime in the third week, it will launch. And real quick, the NGMRT, those are swappable on day one. There's no lockups. It's swappable on day one. We don't know what that token is going to be worth, but you won't be locked up. Everybody else will be. The biggest allocation I thought was 7.5%. I'd have to go look again, but there's not a lot of tokens. There shouldn't be too many tokens spamming the market. And then Libe, also swappable day one. That's going to be, they think, right around or just after the inauguration. And they're also waiting on exchange listings. So that's what's kind of held them up. They had planned on launching like this week, but they're just saying we got to wait until we get exchange listings. We need liquidity in the token. That makes sense. Their token has to be able to move fast because it's used between vendors, some investors and speculators, the company itself, and wholesalers and large shipping entities, data aggregators, all that. So that token's going to be banging around in the middle. It needs sufficient liquidity. So on that, I get it. The game company, which their token GMRT, they're starting. They messaged me this morning and said that they're going to start a big kind of media push tomorrow. I don't know what that looks like, but he said that they're going to pass on that stuff to me. I shouldn't assume that pronoun. He never said he was a he, but I think he's a he. Anyway, so we'll see what that looks like, but we'll be able to talk about that tomorrow. The pools, the Libra pools, Brandon's getting those sorted. Brandon and the team are working on that right now. That's a bunch of stuff that they're writing that hopefully that stuff would get clean and audited and ready to rock and roll here in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But definitely will roll out with their launch. Like on day one, those pools will be available, and it'll be a 30-day lockup. And I won't say anything more about what the percentage is, but it will be paid in Libra tokens. They had thought about doing USDC, but they were like, well, it makes more sense to just pay it. In the building of the pools, it makes more sense to build it where, because the price of Libra and USDC is a floating asset. I mean, they would have floating prices, right? USDC floats a little. It's a stable coin. The Libra token could float a lot compared to the stable coin. It's unlikely that the peg would remain. So the problem is pricing what people earn throughout the year, which is weird. So it's going to be a fixed APR and a good one. I can say double-digit good enough where it's good. It's good. It's good. Anyway, I'm excited about that. I'm like, come on, man. Show me the money, baby. Where can I put my tokes? So there, that'll happen then. Okay. Let me make sure I haven't missed any cool questions. All questions are cool. Yeah, I think Ethereum is coiling. I do believe. I agree. Yeah, did you guys see there was some articles about the redecimalization of, well, it was kind of like a nomenclature thing. They want to make it where a Bitcoin is a Satoshi, meaning 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin, the smallest unit. They want to make those. Some guy said, let's call those Bitcoin. And then there's 2.1 quadrillion Bitcoin. And these other guys are like, why? And he's like, well, because decimals. People hate decimals. People don't like to think in decimals. That's true. People hate decimals. People hate math. You know, they don't like the math. I don't know. Sorry you're late. So it's all right as long as you got here. Does XMR have a 10x? Eesh. I don't know, man. I can't judge privacy tokens that well. I just can't judge privacy tokens. I don't know. I would have thought no a year ago, just because, regulators would go after privacy tokens with a lot of vitriol. But now I'm not so sure. Maybe private currency transactions are protected. You'd think that would be protected. Why the fuck do I have to expose all my data to give someone money? You're like, oh, it could be criminal. Okay, well then stop me from being a criminal. Stop the actual crime. Don't make money the criminal. That always frustrated me. What a fucking scam that the IRS and the Treasury kind of floated through. We'll just criminalize money. Once money is a crime, everyone's a fucking criminal. Yeah, no shit. So I don't know on privacy tokens. I don't know. I'm curious, like you, because I'm curious to see if we ever get that stupid midnight token from Charles and his band of idiots, and what that might look like. I don't know. Let's see. Every time. Let's see. Sui could be one of the big winners. Yeah, I think Sui could be a big winner. Because all the talking head douchebags are pumping Sui. Every douchebag. This Sui they're setting up Sui. It's the same people that pump Solana. They're setting up Sui to be the next Solana. That's it. I mean, so yeah, I'm going to sit on my bag. I'm going to sit on my bag and I'm going to wait. And I think it probably does just fine from here. I mean, it's 13. It's called a 14 billion market cap. What is a realistic market cap for something like that? No one knows, because a bunch of money is coming into the space. But could it be 130, 140? Could it have the market cap of a useless token like XRP? Yep. I mean, yep. So, listen, XRP is used for nothing. It's used for nothing. This whole thing is a house of cards. Just a bucket of dummies. Anyway, yeah, I think Sui. I mean, who knows? We could be looking back 2 years from now, and that thing's $85 a token or something just freaking stupid. So, I'm not telling anyone to buy it. I think the people involved are scummy, and that's probably why it goes up. Their whole network shut down for a while, and it bounced down a little bit and then just kind of rocketed right back up. And it's with all these other assets getting their assets kicked, it's 19.24 cents from its all-time high. Is tracking Bitcoin. What the shit? So I think it'll do just fine. Let's see. Question. Do you see any potential for market-wide downward spikes before Christmas? We could get another sell-off, not a big one. I don't see any reason for a big one other than, this kind of lull in altcoins could be frustrating people, but people have made so much money over the last month. Who's unhappy? Is anybody here unhappy? Is anybody here unhappy about your portfolios over the last month and a half? If you're if you're unhappy about your portfolio, you either have not diversified, or you can't be made happy. There is no happiness for you to be found. Come on. Okay. Does Hypercycle see $1 to $1.50 in the next 6 months? I don't know. And I'm not going to do price type stuff. That's not what the Tuesday, Thursday stuff's about. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. Stocks 8% a year, buddy. Slowly and surely. Um, Slowly DCA. Yes, DCA in or out of everything. Don't ever, don't YOLO. Don't YOLO. Don't meme coin your way into stuff. That's how you either lose money or become overly emotionally invested. You don't want to do those two things. Sometimes the best decision is to do nothing. Like that's usually mostly the best decision. Um, Database assets. Yeah, but it shouldn't be just that. Again, I still feel like I do too. I want more ups and downs. I got into some stuff today. Actually, I bought more stuff than I intended to. For some reason, I had an order in for something on Kraken, and that's not where I trade that asset. I track it on Kraken to see. Anyway, whatever. So I put an order in on Coinbase, on the Coinbase Advanced, and I oddly had an order in also on Kraken. So I got twice as much of that thing I was buying today, which isn't bad. I'm okay with it, but it was a bit of a surprise to see that I had gotten filled twice. 2 fills. Woo woo. 2 fills, 1 cup. All right. Nope, that's gross. All right. File storage. Yeah, except you shouldn't be overly biased. You shouldn't have so much in those assets that's what you're. I mean, we're all waiting for data to catch up, but those are still speculations. Go slow. Well, the thing is, I did go slow. One of the orders was from 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So I went slow. I guess I like it so much, I re-put the same order in twice. So I got twice as much. Okay, let's switch gears. Let me pause this guy. I can't even hear that thing, but whatever. Let's switch gears. Let's go over. It's educational. It's education time.
Hello. You're late.
You're bad at math, but I'm giving you an A+ in confidence.
Just doing what I gotta do.
Extra credit.
Bam. Okay. Let me find some soothing educational music. Chill vibes, maybe? Yeah. Chill vibes is good. Okay. Let me put the banner up there so that you guys know what the F we're talking about. Today, we don't want to talk about that convertible note thing. No. We already talked about that. Today, no. Come on, spinning wheel. Bam. Money, finance, fiscal expansion. Say, what is it? Why do I care? Well, you will care when all these countries start doing it, because the mechanism by which they attempt to do their stimmies, it makes a big difference. So, like, imagine you're playing Monopoly and the banker decides to give every single player extra money. Not by taking it from someone else, though, by just creating it out of thin air. You say, okay, well, what would happen in that situation? Would it help players buy more properties or houses? Or would it make prices go up because everyone just got more money to spend on the same amount of houses? What would you think would happen with the price of said houses? So there are real world implications to this kind of money financed, currency financed fiscal expansion. So this is an economic strategy. This is one that the Chinese are trying to employ, but they'll probably get it wrong. The Beijing bazooka. So it's an economic strategy where the government spends money to stimulate the economy, but instead of borrowing it or, taxing to create it or to ingest this currency, it gets the money from the central bank or the printing press, essentially printing new money. So that's kind of a treasury function, but we're going to take it step by step so that you get it. This isn't lowering or raising interest rates. This isn't a bond buying process with funny money bank biscuits, right? It's not bank reserves. It's not the Fed. So there's two kinds of money policy. There's fiscal policy, right? There's a fiscal policy. That's what we're focusing on. Fiscal policy is how the government spends and collects money. Then there's monetary policy, which the central banks do, which is interest rate manipulations and QE or QQE or whatever weird version they come up with next. But the fiscal policy side is how the government spends and collects money. Think of it as the country's budget, right? Taxing and spending. Taxing and spending. That's fiscal policy, not monetary policy. So an expansion in the fiscal sense means the government's trying to grow the economy. Now, it's the government, not the central bank, the government. So fiscal expansion happens when the government increases spending. Does that make sense? Roads, buildings, highways, weapons, whatever. Drones, if you live on the East Coast. Why do they do this? Well, when the economy is struggling or unemployment is high or growing, businesses are closing, people are spending less, the economy is starting to grind to a halt, banks stop lending because they feel like it's not a furtive environment to lend into. The government can step in and jumpstart the economy by spending money. You know, the old joke, like, what is GDP? Pay someone to dig a hole, pay someone else to fill it up. GDP, 2 people just got hired. So if the government were to build new schools, a bunch of roads, hospitals, it hires workers, it buys materials, it pays contractors. This puts money into the economy, and those workers and businesses now have money to spend on other things, creating this ripple effect, right? Oh, we'll hire more people because all this new money. And you're like, wait, that's government money. That's not real money. Nope, no, it's not. It's bullshit. So where does the government get the money? Well, when governments want to spend money, they have 3 places they can go. They can tax, they can borrow, or they can click the button. Click the button, the easy button, the money printing button. By taxation, you are collecting money from people and businesses. That's usually not happy people. Borrowing, well, you can issue bonds or loans that the government will pay back later. Printing money. You can create new money directly by clicking some buttons, which is where money-financed fiscal expansion comes in. So the first 2 methods, taxation and borrowing, those are pretty common. They have limitations. With taxes, you can end up slowing down the economy because people and businesses have less to spend after you tax them. So you grab from them to go bail someone else out. Cool, except now those people aren't spending. These people have even less opportunity. So the one-time boon in cash didn't make a difference. On the borrowing side, borrowing increases debt, which the government is really good at. The government is supposed to repay this with interest. Well, now they're having trouble making the interest payments on the debt. Think about that for a second. The government right now is having trouble paying interest payments on the debt it has sustained. It's not even servicing its credit card debt, right? Like it's your aunt that's like trying to just pay the interest on the credit card so they don't go up, and at 29% APR or whatever, that's impossible. Like, that's the other side of compounded interest. This is the thing. If you don't understand how compound interest works, you're gonna be the person that gets punished by its effects. It's not good. Anyway, so money finance means the government gets new money from the central bank. Now, in this case, it wouldn't be the Fed. If it was here in the United States, it wouldn't be the Fed. The People's Bank of China, the PBOC, that's a little bit different. Their system is different. Their bank makes money. Our bank makes bank reserves, not money. Our bank does not make money. The Treasury makes money. So money finance means that the government gets new money from the central bank if a central bank exists to facilitate the creation of money. Fiscal expansion means that the government then uses the money that they got from the central entity to increase spending and stimulate the economy. So basically, here's how it works. The government decides it needs to spend more to boost the economy. which governments do a lot. And I think this come in 2025. So instead of borrowing or taxing, debt creation, debt or taxes, spending or taxes, the typical fiscal tools, the central bank creates new money out of thin air. The government spends the money on things like infrastructure, social programs, sometimes direct transfer payments, cash right to people's accounts. They did that years ago. You saw what happened. Holy shit. But by the way, if you were in the crypto space then, you did real good. You did real good. Anyway, so it's like giving the economy a shot of energy without really increasing taxes or debt. So all of the bullseyes then go directly at products because you have more currency units fighting for the same amount of products, which creates a glut of buying and a chasm, a deficit in products. So these kinds of fictionary prosperity can create supply shocks and things like that. So it's not all bad, right? So on the good side, why would you use money financed fiscal expansion in the first place? Remember, this is the non-central bank side of market control. We kind of got to call it control, right? So why could it be a good thing? Well, you might be stimulating a weak economy. So when unemployment's really high and businesses are struggling, like they are here in the United States, new government spending can create jobs and increase demand for goods and services. That is true. There's no new debt. So unlike borrowing, printing money, as crazy as this sounds, printing money out of thin air does not increase debt. You're printing it, but you're not selling debt notes against it. You're not selling bonds or treasuries, anything. You just click, it exists. So printing doesn't increase government debt and it doesn't require interest payments. Right? So you're like, oh, you hear this term, inflate the debt away? Now you see. And it's also fast. It's a fast way to get money to the economy. It's a fast way to get money to people's hands, especially if there's an urgent need after some, event, some geopolitical event or some dystopian goddamn zombie nightmare. I don't know. Like the last real life example that we all experienced was during an economic crisis like the Great Depression or in COVID. We did the COVIDs. Some economists had argued that the government could print money to avoid deeper economic collapse. I would say what we got was pretty bad, but maybe it would have been worse. And I'm also not one of these people that says printing is always bad. I don't think there are absolutes. I think there are times for targeted stimulus. There are times to try to wrestle control over the bond markets a little bit. You got to be very careful. It's a sword that you have to wield delicately. I don't know if humans are good at it. I think AI might be better at it. AI won't be worse. Anyway, the other side of it is the risks and why this isn't used all the time. So you'd be saying, well, if printing is so powerful, if people don't get crushed on taxes and you're not increasing the debt, then why don't governments just use this as their main source of currency creation? Like, why would governments not just do this all the time? The answer is our friend, the always and everywhere monetary phenomenon of inflation through direct debasement. Inflation happens when there's too much money in the economy chasing the same or a shrinking amount of goods and services. Too much money, too few goods. Too much money, too few services. Always and everywhere. Pervasive, consistent, year-on-year inflation. Not the kind of thing that we're quite seeing right now, but there's still debasement occurring. When people have more money to spend, but there aren't enough goods to buy, prices are the release valve. They go up. Look at real estate. Now, look at real estate. Look at exotic cars. They're up in the last 2 years. Across the board, exotic cars are $100,000 more expensive every car. Doesn't matter how shitty it is. Every single goddamn car. We were looking at an Aston Martin SUV yesterday. They were going to knock off $30K off the window to bring it down to 320,000 for a half-ass Aston Martin SUV with an AMG engine in it. What the shit? The Ferrari Purosangue, their SUV kind of thing. It's not even really SUV, whatever thing. 440,000 for, come on, man. The new the Temerario, which is the replacement for the Lamborghini Huracan. The Huracans, you get them for 265, 275, brand new. The Temerario starts at 375. Starts. You haven't built it yet. Starts. You want seats? You want wheels? You want a steering wheel? Fuck you. That's extra. It's out. It is ridiculous. Aston Martin Valhalla starts at 1.1 million. The W2, the McLaren, the McLaren W1 starts at 2.2 million. The Ferrari F80 starts at 1.8, 2 million. Like madness. And that's because there's extra money floating around that there wasn't. So think of it, simplify it. You live in a town and there are 10 pizzas, and suddenly everyone gets a bunch of free money. And, you like pizza. But now people are offering more for the same pizzas. So your $10 pizza now costs you $40. Why? Because someone else will pay it. That's what's so crazy. And then the companies get on board and they start taking advantage of it, and they blame, it's not us. We're passing through costs, man. It's a demand pull kind of inflation. The demand is pulling the it's not us, man. Come on, bro. Get off the gas. So in extreme cases, inflation can lead to hyperinflation, where prices rise so quickly that money basically is worthless, like in Venezuela and Zimbabwe, where you light money on fire to stay warm because that's all it's worth. They weigh it. You want this banana? I'm going to need 2 more kilos of money. Well, what color? Oh, it doesn't matter. What denomination? It doesn't matter. I just need 2 kilos of money. So money financed fiscal expansion is powerful and it is quick, but it is risky if it's not done carefully. And it only works well when there's extra capacity in the economy. Like there's a big pile, there's slack. There's a bunch of unused workers, right? Or factories that could start producing goods, maybe goods that are in demand, but they need to get the factory staff. There's not the money to get that going, but if they could get the factory back on. So targeted money financed fiscal expansion could be and can be a very powerful tool. It can work when the economy is in a recession. It can work when it's done in moderation. That second bit there, that's the bit that the government types don't quite get. They're not too keen on that moderation bit. So when the economy is in a recession, again, which a recession is healthy. Recessions are good. They get rid of bad business. They get rid of toxic business people. They get rid of scumbags and thieves and criminals and crooks, mostly. And businesses that need to go away usually go away. Problem is, there's a lot of lifelines for bad businesses, right? So, but typically when unemployment is high in a recessionary environment, there is room to grow without causing too much inflation. Yes, if you print money into society, it will eventually manifest as inflation. It has to. You can't add money to a system unless you add the exact amount of money as the rate of expansion of the economy. And guess what? Guess what that rate is? No one fucking knows. It's impossible right now. Again, AI will help us with these things. But right now, with humans, economists, and the dipshits at the Fed, none of these assholes has any fucking clue what the actual rate of growth or the rate of growth decline is in an economy. This is money supply needs to be able to expand and contract. It's got to be elastic. You need an elastic money supply. Money finance fiscal expansion is the expansion part without the elasticity. You would say, oh, well, we'll use taxes. We'll use taxes to get that under control. Bullshit. What you'll do is line the pockets of 7 assholes, and everyone else gets crushed because their savings, because grandma's savings go to fucking zero, right? Because she retired 30 years ago, and her retirement money is now worth 40% of 35% of what it was. Okay, grandma, here, put on these gloves. You're going to start knitting fucking quilts until you get yourself out of debt if you want to stay in that retirement home we put you in. Otherwise, your ass is going to have to move, get back out on the streets. You're going to have to earn it. Hope you can wear that tight skirt again, grandma. Anyway, so again, this idea of money, finance, fiscal expansion, it can work in small doses. The problem is you need the other side of it, and you need tracking. You need tracking to know how much is a small dose, how much is too much. Like meth. How much meth is too much? When they die. Okay, we need less than that. Less than death, but enough to wake them up. Okay, good. Now go work in the oil fields. So to sum it up, money, finance, fiscal expansion is when the government spends money that's created directly by the central bank or central currency issuing agent. It can be a very powerful tool that can help economies recover during hard times, like recessions. It's kind of like a financial jumpstart. But it comes with risks. If you print too much money into existence, it leads to inflation. It can lead to hyperinflation. That's a possible effect. It's unlikely. It's usually a slow boil of inflation that always and everywhere, pervasive, year on year, month on month, consistent situation where the cost of goods goes up because there's too much money chasing too few goods. And read Milton Friedman if you want to kind of really grapple with inflation and things like that and debasement. But economists do carefully debate all this stuff. Problem is, their 1964 pre-color TV education at some Ivy League shit show that themselves have not been in the economy, filled with non-entrepreneurs. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. This is why they're so wrong. And it's great. If you're an economist, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. I mean, you got nothing in the game. You're just talking. You're just giving fucking speeches and going to luncheons and breakfast. I'm an economist. What do you invest in? No. I'm an economist. Okay, what does that mean? I look at the economy. Okay, all right, and then what? That's it. That's what I do. Okay, how do you help the world? I'm on CNBC. Got it. You're a fucking quack. So this is the thing. So when you hear the term government's printing money, you guys should know it's not a free lunch, right? This is a balancing act that they mostly get wrong, and that's why the price of shit keeps going up. Because the currency supply tends to expand. It never retracts. Austerity is a joke. They never do it. And this is just the reality that we live in. So your investment journey has to be to beat that. You have to beat printing. You have to beat the government. You have to beat whatever the fuck the Fed does or doesn't do with their political performance theater. You have to beat the people behind the scenes that are looking at the money, at the actual monetary inputs. You have to beat the fucking quagmire of the stock market. You have to beat them. This is what you have to do. You have to beat inflation, beat inflation, beat debasement, and beat all the D-bags that are a part of making all that happen. It's simple. That's your only job. You have to beat everyone. Forever. No big deal, right? You just have to beat everyone forever. So, welcome to investing. You're never going to stop. There's no such thing as retiring from investing. This shit's forever. So, roll up your sleeves, get locked in. Stay in school, don't do drugs, don't do anything my poor and solve a drunk. Certain meth grandmother wouldn't do. Oh, gambling crook ass. Or Brandon. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you at 8 a.m. Pacific. Deuces.
Terrified, wandering mind, the seams have come undone. You've been telling lies to these eyes as if they'd never seen the sun. Now you've let your guard down and your heart is exposed. Now you've let your guard down, but how could you have known that I'm the big fish round here? You're a small fish. I could make you disappear. You should know this. I'm the big fish round here. You're a small fish.